Hello, and welcome to another Rangaroo cast. It's me, Rangaroo, and today we are doing a 3v3 on Bloody Ridge. So, on the NATO side, we have kunstkerze, Heisenberg and DaOidWenz. And on the Redfor side, we have TKNGez, Sotek, and Sparow. So, let's speed things up and get things going, sorry. We'll be deploying their units. Bit of ground forces, a lot of BRDMs, BTRs, all that rubbish over here. NATO, got a few more helicopters, and here we go. Got an F-16 block being brought out, and Redfor's going to be bringing out a Yak-38 napalm bomber. And then Drake, a couple of Drakens as well. So that Yak will probably not make it to target. Yeah, he's going to evac it out after seeing the enemy planes. Not wanting to be a part of that. Both sides slow, that's all they move up. It seems like Blufor Majors gets into hotel a little bit earlier thanks to your helicopters. And he's also going to be Heisenberg going to be landing inside the town. I don't really see bringing infantry into the middle. Great idea, because you have to really keep them in these two towns here, and putting them in the forest isn't entirely the best movement. Here he's getting shot up. What a nice good bomb here. And there we have Kurtschagers jumping out, absolutely completely unscathed. And some more bombing runs, stunning up the infantry transports as I try to come up. And now Blufor bringing up the rest of their reinforcements. Those Kurtschagers are going to mess those guys up. And Redfor is going to get into Foxtrot. They have a very nice tank force, BVIs, URAMs and TATUs. So a very powerful tank force, while Blufor having a lot more weakly armoured light armour units. Nothing really too scary, and I haven't even really captured Gulf. Don't have any infantry here whatsoever, but Redfor is going to keep into Delta. They don't know about this, so they can't take advantage of a completely open point. You have an M18 or two M1A3, it's pretty expensive. This is going to be going at the enemy tanks. And it's such a weird opening at the moment. Both sides being very passive, not really doing any big pushes, and just really getting onto the rare area of the map and holding. I mean, the map's perfectly split up in two at the moment, really. Perfectly split up in two. Got some Yaks dropping in some bombs. And good old Nate blocking those STRFs. And he's going to be falling back into Echo. All the guys in there now are a couple AA units. And bring up some more reinforcements. Mortars. Do some ATGMs. Speeds up just a wee bit. Blufor moving up into Echo with Abrams force. And they're going to be able to just roll right in there, absolutely nothing stopping them whatsoever. Redfor bring out another TATA and some T-72s. Not the best tanks to deal with an M1A Abrams, because it will have to do some more T-72s. And all that jazz. Cannon Panzers. Not in the best position. That TATUM is going to eat them all up. Blufor finally getting some infantry to go to hold it down. Getting a bit of defences. Tanks going into Echo. Redfor may want to capture that soon so he can stop the Blufor bleed and capture Foxtrot. If they can capture both of these points, it will start gaining a bleed on the NATO players. Now it'd always be quite nice. PT, that's a very nice spot for the PT, being able to spot anything in the open around about all around here, see if any movements come up. I totally doubt that Redfor will be able to move up into his town unless they napalm the crap out of it, thanks to an awful lot of Fouch Jaegers and Deckens Grippy ready to shoot any tanks that do come up. The Abrams finally getting some opposition. The Su-27M coming in perfectly, knocking one out, and a MiG-27M almost killing the second. Now these Abrams having to fall back. Even that one BM2 rocket, and it does get killed. That's really the main killer down in the Hotel Echo side being killed. Maybe Redfor can start and do some counter-attackings. Saparow's falling back. And Redfor, they really need to get CV on Echo. Need to start taking advantage. Two Leopard 285s bleeding now. Both NATO really like bringing up their super heavy tanks this match. Some Saradins being moved up. Tunguska in a very nice spot to shoot down any helicopters. And the Saradins moving right into here, but they're going to get killed by the 72s. And as I said, both sides are being fairly passive. Not doing any big pushes, just small skirmishes here and there. Oh, but now he has Leopard 285s moving up. Doesn't have really too much AO to cover him. So those SUs and MiG-27s can come in and, you know, mess him up once again, which you don't really want to happen. Oh, that Leopard 285 firing, computer reset, weapons jammed. He's not going to be able to fire, and he's going to get right close to that BVI, and he's going to be absolutely weaponless for another 10 seconds. Oh no, he drove right in, ignoring the side armor, but his mate finishes him off, gets some good old revenge. And you have his TATU here, and you have the UM back here that Leopard 285 is going to have to face. And then he has the Su-25, almost killing the Leopard. And the MiG having the evac, losing line of sight. Now Blufor are trying to make some progress into the middle. If they can neutralise the point, they can stop the bleed on top of. They can stop Redfor bleeding on them. And both sides down in the Hotel Echo route. They're sort of gathering their forces, making a bit of a defensive rule. More resupply helicopters, resupply tanks down. They got some KP-70 Keelers. Very nice German prototype tank with a very good gun, and even an autocannon for a nice, like, 80 points, 85 points. It's fairly awesome tank, and it looks pretty. Looks a bit daft. Turret seems a bit big. But it's a very awesome tank. And they're going to move right into the line of fire of these T-64s and T-80Us. And well, the T-64s and T-80Us are going to eat these guys up, as they're not too heavily armoured. And even the UM's going to get some nice side shots. And yeah, those Keelers cannot match up to the Russian armour force, as Russian armour is this perfect map for Russian armour. Open ground where they can just make use of their awesomely powerful ATGMs and cannons. While the NATO tanks are slightly more better at more closer range encounters. Another 8 URAM to sludge a heavy tank being thrown into the mid. Even a Tiger now, got a bunch of M19 Abrams. And they are going to be moving up. Some artillery back and forth. And Blufor really needs to make a push through somewhere now. Maybe into Delta would be quite a good idea. I wouldn't really expect it. There's not too much to ask yourself there. A couple of EDVs and some Spetsnaz. Nothing some good old napalm runs wouldn't fix. Because they're not... They could move into Echo as well. They could also do that. They do have not many heavy tanks. There's a bunch more cheaper tanks that you'd have to go up against. So Blufor, they really have two good options that it can move up into, as Foxtrot is pretty heavily armoured. Very heavily armoured, and the NATO armour here is not going to out-armour the Redfor armour. Now it's on a making fall back a little bit. Just some scary artillery being fired at him. And the Abrams, actually doing some damage on the UMs. I may have to eat my own hat here, but NATO's making quite a bit of progress in Foxtrot. Oh, they do have an Akula now. They do have an Akula, and that Leopard 5. Oh, nice side shot from the UM. Knocking out that beast of a tank now. Some MBT-70s, a KP-70s. Second cousin being brought out. Not the best tank in this type of situation. Some Hornets. A Prowler as well. And Redfor with a very nice AN. A bunch of Books. So, a bunch of Books in their back line. Some Strallas, Nigglers all around. And Redfor's going to be recapturing Foxtrot's not really anything that can stop them. Deccan's group here aren't entirely the most scariest anti-tank unit in the road. But we do have the command squad. They're going to neutralise a point. Those Faust makers, they could do a bit of damage. Their Panzerfaust 3s do have extended range, and they pack an awful lot of a punch. So if they can get a side shot on a T70BU or T80M, it'll go down in a heartbeat. Got some Leopard 1A3s, and they're just going to be cannon fodder to the fire. Same with that KP-70 Keeler. Yeah, Blufor, they are making progress on Foxtrot. It's like the Blufor tanks aren't killing him, they're just for cannon fodder. Blufor bring out their Hornets and their cluster artillery to take out his big brooch. Got some misters here, trying to suppress him up. Trying to get a resupply helicopter. Oh, those PVRBs in a very nice spot to start ATGM in Echo. And here comes a Redfor heavy armor, BU, or basically a T90 and two T80 UMs. And they're going to be spotted, and is there going to be a Hornet? Some Peace Range, some sort of ATGM plane? That's what Blufor has been bringing out, and this is a perfect spot to start shooting them. You can go on M3 Bradley to start reconning the area. Got a Hart Abrams, a Starfighter, some TOW Defenders, some BOs, German little bird. ATGMs on the bottom, bunch of starships now, just tank spam in the mid. Same with Redfor, bringing up a bunch of T-55s. Yeah, I want it getting shot down, the PU getting it. And we have Tigra 2, trying to keep the Redfor tanks at bay. And it's just utter chaos in the mid, just Foxtrot being a complete no man's land between both of these tree lines. Now, Blufor, they could actually technically neutralise Echo. Just put a command infantry squad in, they can start gaining a bleed onto Redfor, and that'll be quite good for him. Even if he's currently using a very nice recon position, even though I only have medium optics, it will be enough to really reconnaissance this entire area to see if any sneaky buggers try and move up. Redfor starting to gain a recapture onto Foxtrot, moving on the T-55s very close to Command Squad, and Command Squads don't have rocket launchers, so they can't defend themselves against even the most weakly armoured tank. We've got Hart Abrams. And the cluster artillery is being fired from NATO, trying to get some good old kills. They're not really hitting anything too much. Just cleansing the ground. We've got some SCRVs going around the flank to get out read this tank, destroy a tank. They don't have a spot on the T-55, so they're getting engaged on. That's some good old ATGMs on the T-62. Pretty nice ATGM tank for its price. The Kerche is trying to make a move out in the open, but the Mi-8 with its S-13 rockets going to be shooting it down, but it does get shot down by the sparouw. And the Kerchegers are going to continue making some progress. They can start falling back. The Barusa getting into gun range. And Cannon AA absolutely wreck infantry, so the Kerchegers are going to try and get out of dodge, but they are stunned up. BTR-70 chasing him. They'll really be able to make it into the forest. Oh, this is out in the open. And he is now camouflaged. He should be safe. PVRBs. Gonna keep him protected. We've got the Hart Abrams going around the top flank. And this match can still really go either way. If Blufor can at least start couch neutralizing Foxtrot and Echo and do a bit more of aggressive play, they could start gaining some ticks onto Redfor. And they do have a bunch of starships here now, and they don't actually fight the stars. You know, very cheaply armoured ground tanks, 35 points with a pretty rubbish ATGM. And they're going to be moving in. And they're not going to kill these T-72 BUs at all. It might do a bit of damage, but not too much. And it's really going to be up to some enemy. It's really going to be up to the ATGM planes, and here they come out. 2 F-18 Sea Hornets. Absolutely great anti-tank planes with their very powerful ATGMs that can really knock out any tank and run past. And here they come. Getting a Strela. And yeah, that was not the best target. Not the best target at all. He probably just clicked move. Just right click move over the area, and that's the first thing they saw. It's usually best with ATGM planes that you actually right click on the tank you want dead. So just click overfly, because yeah, and they just hit the first thing they see, which can be a pretty rubbish AA unit that doesn't need your attention. So now for jets dropping in some nape. We're stunning up the Strelas a wee bit. And sort of missing that Tunguska. Had Redfor in a pretty nice defensive position, just trying to keep Blufor at bay. Blufor, they just need to do some sort of piss. And the cluster artillery and the Redfor tanks now going to be forced to fall back. He might get one though. He might just get run. Oh no, they're going to be out of dodge. But they are pretty good. They did get the HP damage just a wee bit. Another UAZ being brought out. Cannon pangas. Slicing the mod strictly. More artillery. And that's going to be counter battering the cluster artillery pieces. You got a bunch of infantry now, and they're going to make it across no man's land. The Redfor tanks had to fall back. Jaegers are going to be unloading onto the area. Yeah, it's dropping in nape, and those Jaegers, they are going to be hot and heavy. Going to be all burned up and charred. No, they are going to be smithereens, so they're going to die. No, just look at this. T-64 BVIs, BUs, T-80UM, C-64s, just bloody every single heavily armoured tank that Redfor can get. They have right here. Then Blufor. They're in for a world of pain if they just keep trying to move up into Foxtrot. Because these BUs and T-64 BVIs are an absolute nightmare to try and kill in this open terrain. Even if they're Hornets, that's so many targets those Hornets are gonna have to keep shooting. And oh, they are actually making a move up into Echo Delta. This could actually be a turning point if they can just get into here. They'll be in a right good position. But the VDVs, he didn't smoke or try to stun the town first, and these riflemen are now just going to be easily picked off. Bit of a weak push, but if he could do it again with some napalm and some artillery to help him back him up, he could actually make some nice progress. Now we got an Mi-24P. And try and cover the area. Got some more Super Dragons. M113 Super Dragons. You don't really see the Dragon M113s being used that much anymore. Has a pretty rubbish ATGM on top, but it's pretty good at knocking out lightly armoured APCs. And for only 5 points more, it's not the worst purchase you can make. And now, oh, they are now starting to smoke Delta, but they're not really bringing anything up, so that's gonna be sort of a sign that Redfor's gonna know they're gonna move up into Delta now, thanks to the smoke. So they're gonna start bringing up some reinforcements. They got BTRDs, more VDVs, more Spetsnaz, a bunch of nasty infantry guys. Just a little bit early on the smoke, just a wee bit early. And Blufor there, gaining a bit more ground into Echo, controlling this forest. If I can get a CV onto here, that'd really make all the difference. And they do have Foxtrot neutralised, and they do have some infantry in the forest as well, so that's going to keep them nice. That's going to keep that command squad nice and snug, nice and snugly defended. The Mi-24Ps, easily Mi-24s with a 30mm cannon, so these riflemen, they're going to get completely eaten up. And even end with the 80mm rockets, do an awful lot of damage. Good old Hinds. You can always rely on a Hind. It's constant artillery onto the Redfor tanks, just trying to weaken them up a wee bit, keep them a bit suppressed. More Abrams, more toes. Got some Leopard 1A4s that's been throwing lots of meat shieldy tanks into the Redfor, the Redfor gun firing range, the gun line. It's bleeding out. I'd want to see these guys killed because they must have an absolute boatload. An absolute boatload. One of them was definitely playing an armoured tank, that is for sure. I think, as we can see, with the time left and the amount of points, I think we all know who's going to be the victor here. Just to speed us up a wee bit. Needs us to do a push. 1A4's going right in, but the ATUMs are going to come around the flank and they're just going to get eaten up alive. Leopard's not really the most heavily armoured tank you can bring out. Put him back in his line when you get artillery and pulls him back when the artillery starts to stop. Bit of back and forth, and we got this spam assault with T-55s here. Let's slow us down to see in its fuel beauty. So, move up a nice, perfect formation. Firing on the SCRV. Starfighter dropping in some nape. Stun up some of the T-55s. More infantry being brought into Echo a little bit too early. A little bit too late. That could have been a bit more useful 20 minutes ago. Yeah, T-55 is just going to try and bypass that town and go around the bottom of it. Some toe defenders going to try and stop this. Just constant artillery barrages back and forth. There goes Heisenberg. And that is going to be a good game. Yeah, 44 minutes. Redfor getting quite a big KD advantage over Blufor. Just, yeah, heavily armoured tank line just allowed them to keep control over Foxtrot. And later they kept hitting their head against their rule against a pretty impregnable rule. Just, you could not break through it. You could not break through it. Even if the M1A Abrams and Leopard Tray 5, you're going to need some fancy micromanagement work to try and get past nasty force. If Blufor tried to attack in like Echo and Delta, one of the other flanks with a bunch of infantry and a bit more lightly armoured force, and bypass impregnable tank force in the middle, things could have gone a little bit more differently. But yeah, long story short, never hit your head against a rule. Will never hit your head against a rule that you can't break down and attack other flanks. And well, that's all I have time for. This has been another Rangroo cast. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.